Wilmington headquarters for MS Garden Growers. This is not our biggest production facility, just because of the size of the property doesn't really allow that. This facility actually predates my family and the company. I believe the original greenhouses we're standing on here were built in 1917 as part of the Oheka Castle estate. So if any of your audience is from the New York area, they may have heard of Oheka Castle today. It's basically a big event space and restaurant. But when it was built back in the 1910s, it was the second largest home, and still is second largest home ever built in the United States.
Next to the Biltmore.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
We did film at recently.
Yeah, it is
and they all
behind
had
Biltmore.
their estate and their greenhouse.
Yeah, back then it was still very much Gilded Age fortunes. This part of Long Island they called it the Gold Coast. Proximity to New York City, but not built up yet, so it became a very popular place for these super, super rich guys to build their estates. And he loved fresh cut flowers. So when it's the 1910s or 20s and you want fresh cut flowers every day of the year and you're one of the richest people in the country, the way you got that was by building your own greenhouses. So that's kind of the background of how this facility was originally built. After Otto Kahn died, after the Great Depression, estates like these became these big, expensive boondoggles that nobody could afford to maintain. So the estate was broken up. This parcel, that was the greenhouses and the gardener's cottage, was sold off. So my great-grandparents were immigrants. They moved from Germany in the 1920s, and my great-grandfather had started a series of nursery businesses, but eventually sold his interest in those and wanted to go out on his own. So he and my great-grandmother Emma, who the company is named after today, moved here in 1941 and started this kind of iteration of the business. We're still using most of the original glass greenhouses from the estate.
You could say that if you buy a plant through you, it's had grown in a previous castle's greenhouse.
Yes, it has been. Actually, when they started, they were cut flower growers, in addition to doing like some holiday plants like poinsettias, and even back then in the 1940s, doing some houseplants. The common ones back then would have been like a rubber, Ficus elastica, things like that. The primary business was focused on cut flower production for the New York City market. We have come to care about the place itself, the property, and maintaining it. So I think it's far from the optimal greenhouse at this point. You could knock these down, build a modern, more cost-effective structure, but there is certainly an element for us of kind of maintaining that history.
Yeah.
You can see we still use it today. So this is our 2-inch succulent production that are started as cuttings in this house. You can see under there where they're removing the shade cloth today. Some that were under shade while they rooted, and then they get finished in this house as well. And these, if you've been to a plant store in New York City, seen 2-inch succulents, really good chance they came from this greenhouse right here. You can actually, if you want to peek in here, these are pretty freshly planted echeveria cuttings. And so they sit under the shade cloth while they root so that they don't transpire too much during that delicate phase, and then they get moved out once they're ready. So like I said, this was started as a cut flower grower. My grandfather got involved in the business. So he grew up on the property here. He was involved from day one, but after he went to college and completed his military service, he started full-time in the early 1960s and pretty rapidly transitioned from cut flower heavy focus to, within 10 years, growing no cut flowers at all and doing a heavy focus on garden plants and other potted plants. And that was definitely the right move in hindsight. Oh, yeah, I love these this epiphyllum. They're so beautiful.
We just happened to catch it. And
I know,
it's
and
blooming.
So this is as far as I know, I'm sure it has a name. No idea what the name of this cultivar is.
Right.
And
look at the fuchsia.
I know this
like
color. It doesn't even translate on camera. I don't know if it will. It's
pink.
So beautiful.
Especially on the inside, like where the stamens are, it's very.
On the outside, you think it's going to be red.
Yeah.
And on the inside, there's these pinks. Yeah. And this one's only throwing one flower. This might actually be a second flowering. They flower in May. This would have 50 flowers like that on it. They're so gorgeous.
Wow.
My little baby. Yeah, like I said though, my grandfather transitioned out of the cut flower business into potted plants, garden plants, house plants, and other potted plants like poinsettias. And that was the right move because in retrospect, we can look back and say it now easily, but the cut flower business, almost all overseas now. So it's all produced in South America or Africa, shipped in from Holland. We have this great photo, I wish I could find it for you, somewhere of my great-grandmother in this very greenhouse right down here with Maranta growing on these, in the background, I think in like the 70s.
Plant trends come and go.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see, compare just even 40, 50 years ago what was growing and
So they do
what
come
came
and grow.
back.
Yeah, for sure. We've had periods where we have gotten almost entirely out of growing houseplants. There was like that boom in the 70s.
Yeah.
But then it got to the point where the industry developed in Florida to an extent that we grew nothing but very little in the way of houseplants here. But then we were lucky because as the current like houseplant trend started to pick up, we had our own grower. Unlike a lot of wholesalers, we can kind of just decide, no, we're going to produce this.
Right.
And two, we had great access to the New York market, which is where I think a lot of this trend really developed with like Brooklyn plant
in
stores.
New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, there was a lot of growers up this way for a while.
We were very lucky because we had this direct access, very direct and close relationship with our customers, the retailers in New York City. It was clear the market was changing, that there was demand for new and interesting products. We were kind of at the forefront of a lot of that. We were very lucky. Like, it's a old hat now, but Pilea peperomioides was, and this people like think it's funny, but when they first were hitting the American market again, I'm sure they were probably here in 1880 for all we know, but when they were coming back into popularity, they were selling for hundreds of dollars a pot.
I remember some of the easiest things to propagate.
It's the funniest thing. They're so easy to propagate.
I was saying even syngoniums. Syngoniums are going off the hook. They're so easy to propagate.
Yeah, it is funny, but I don't think anyone's gathering statistics on this, so I'm not sure, but I think we were the first nursery in the country to be growing them at scale because one of my uncles got stock in. I think they even had to get it from overseas, and it's funny in retrospect. People, they're slow, they're hard to grow.
Yeah.
They couldn't be, couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
They're not the fastest, but they're definitely not hard to propagate.
Right.
So things like that, we were like very close to the leading edge of things. We'll show you. I'll take you outside so you can see. This is the.
Speaking of which.
Yeah, there we are. Cute little guys. Yeah, and they're just so. I don't know. Perfect little plants. Very agreeable, easy to care for.
Yep.
Yeah, this is another one of the original greenhouses to the estate. It's kind of in like a horseshoe pattern on either side of the original gardener's cottage, which we'll show you too.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I was walking around, I'm like, where am I?
Yeah, it is.
Very
It's a little maze-like. Today they would build one big, and we have built at other facilities. One big, enormous house. These small little houses, they wouldn't do it like this today. But yeah, this is another one of the original houses that we use for foliage production. As you can see, we have a crop of Begonia maculata growing here, crop of Monstera adansonii, Philodendron Birkin. These are all produced kind of in-house. Depends. Some of them we produce the plugs ourselves, and others are sourced from third-party plug growers, depending on the plant. But everything you see growing in here is all grown in New York, in this very greenhouse, and then sold primarily to the New York City market, Philadelphia, Boston as well, but that's kind of our core. The gardener lived in his cottage back in the day. So this is the original gardener's cottage. When my great-grandparents moved here, they lived in this house.
It's so adorable.
Isn't it cute? My grandpa and his siblings grew up in this house, so it has a lot of history.
I was saying as I was coming out that door at one point, I was like, it just reminds me like the kind of gingerbread like
very cute.
doors with the crossbucks on it.
This is another one of the original greenhouses, the other side of the gardener's cottage right there.
Wow.
So they kind of flank it on both sides in this symmetrical layout. And we use this for production of some of our other like core products. So these are all a little string of pearls. Some of these will be sold as is. And some of them, as you can see, I think customers already picked through a few.
Yeah, I see
Some of them will be potted up to use as like a giant plug for the 6-inch baskets, essentially. We have Tradescantia production. These were all, I think, very recently stuck. String of turtles production. Super cute. We'll run into a situation where we want to produce something, but stock material cuttings are not commercially available, at least not economically. And so then the challenge is, do we still want to do it? And if so, how do we produce our own stock? For some slow-growing things, that can be a bit of a challenge. These epiphytic cactus, by cacti standards, super speedy. By the standards of, say, annual that we're used to, taking cuttings of, very slow. And so it's how do you figure out how to produce the cuttings economically? And we found that for some of them, these very large baskets are the best way to go.
You get a lot of surface area.
Oh, you can get a lot of surface area. And we put them on a dripper, so it brings down the maintenance burden. They don't need to be watered by a person. And you can then, say once a year, go through and give them a real haircut and get, off of one basket, a huge amount of cuttings.
Right, and they're out of the way. So, because they're hanging up here along with all your other
I love to see the aerial
baskets.
roots. Yeah. Similar situation for some of our like rye-tail type cactuses. So these are also stock plants, kind of in production. And we do actually, I think they're going to be cut relatively soon. We do usually do a summer crop, so they may be cut towards the end of the summer.
Right.
And
what are you usually? Are you usually doing like a?
Oh no, they get pretty
mauled all the way down.
Go back to the basket
yeah.
basically. I mean, I guess it depends on how much you want to produce, but
right.
Yeah, we have Ripsalis paradoxica. This is actually a fresher one that we just started doing this variety.
Oh my God! Look at this guy.
Oh yeah, the flowers. I know
before.
it's a shame. I think we just missed them. So it's a bit of a shame.
Look at this guy too.
Yeah, I think he may have avoided the haircut last year.
I guess
he's
so.
so enormous. So you can see. I think we also just missed some flowers
It's like
on that one.
cacti dreads.
I know. It's you know, the funny thing with cactus is they have, I think out of any plant family, the most beautiful flowers, but they're open for like a day typically.
Right.
And you can't make a cut out of them. You can't plant a garden around them. So people don't know about it, but they're just so gorgeous. This is also an unusual facility in that we grow and sell out of here. Most modern greenhouse production, they would never really dream of letting customers on the growing floor.
Right.
But this is a mix of sales space and growing space.
Hi, my name is Joyce Opulgencia, and I'm the buyer and the greenhouse manager here at Emma's Garden Growers in Huntington, New York.
What is this standing behind you? It's kind of like jungle-esque back here.
So yes, so this is our sales floor. It includes everything that we sell and also our our display plants, which you can see are huge. These are like a sample of what we sell, like in a bigger version. So when you buy the plants, you would see how they are when they grow up, basically.
Right.
Yes.
So it's like you have to sometimes put the not for sale sign, but
yes. Sometimes we had some customers think that it is for sale because it is the sales floor, which can't blame them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How long does it take to grow something like this out? Is this like a tree fern?
Yes, this is an Australian tree fern. So I think we've had this for maybe about 3 years now.
Okay.
They are rapid, yes. Right now we grow a lot of our annuals, our perennials, and some houseplants. So it's a more holistic way of growing. So it's almost like a one-stop shop for our customers to make it easier. So we bring in products from Florida, Canada, and California that's on top of what we grow.
Right, so you're bringing in like small plugs that you're growing out, but then
Yes.
you're also cutting and propping here as well.
Exactly, yes.
Well, take me through some of your plants, and I see that you have some really lush and lovely ones that are kind of climbing up here.
Here are calatheas, and we also grow our pink princesses in-house. We choose the better coloring, and we also do a lot of our begonias recently. Our grower, she's amazing. Her name's Ariel. We have all these fun and unique begonias.
Oh yeah, these are like, I think these are Milano Bellotto.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
she's also working on hybridizing a handful of them.
Now, have you introduced, I know sometimes when you're hybridizing, it takes a while to make selections and everything like that before maybe somebody wants to put it onto market.
Yes.
Have you gotten any of your own selections on the market yet?
Not yet. We're still on the early stages of it. But on the other side, we have two new varieties of plants. One is Scindapsus Soul Silver. We got the patent of that, and also Pothos Lizard Queen.
Ooh.
So we got the patent of this, I believe, early this year or like late last year. So this is called Scindapsus Soul Silver. Okay, so it is a little smaller than Silver Hero. Might be a little bit difficult to see when it's like this, but when you put it side by side, you would see the difference. Yeah.
Now, would you ever grow these up on a pole? Like, do they start to shingle at all, or?
They would, but most of the time our customers love their hanging baskets.
Right.
Because, of course, in New York City, we don't have a lot of space in apartments, so this is easier to
And
deal
you
with.
probably shouldn't be growing anything on your landlord's wall.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, because I would imagine that when your buyers come in, they're always looking for something that's unique or new.
Yes, exactly. So this is the Pothos Lizard Queen.
Ooh, nice.
Yes. So again, our grower, Ariel, she's the one who found this as a sport, I believe from Enjoy.
Right, okay, cool. So yeah, so sometimes you just have to keep on the lookout because I even saw when I was walking here earlier, maybe we could swing over to that Monstera because I was like, wait, that looks like an Epipremnum meets Monstera.
Oh yes, it's
very
super
skeleton-like. Cool. Yeah, take a look at this leaf. It looks a little, you know, you don't know what could be the cause of it, but it just doesn't have that kind of broad leaf that you would normally see.
Yeah, it's really, really wild.
Yeah, and you know, it could have been maybe like also a cutting that had been taken off of another one, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is super cool. And one of my other favorite things about this greenhouse as well is this elbow pole that we have.
Okay, so is that like it's moss like tied to a PVC?
pipe? Yes. This is our trial.
This is like a DIY.
Yes.
This is a DIY, folks, right there. PVC pipe you could pick up at like your local hardware shop, and a heck of a lot of sphagnum.
Yes. And you see that some other plants are growing in there, like the Cebu Blue.
Yeah. Yep, like right here.
Yes. And I think it's about to bear fruit on the top side of it.
Yeah, that's actually
is
good.
That a fruit? I believe it is a fruit.
It's a good question that you know I would wonder how the fruit bearing would be with a variegated, you know,
Right.
Monstera. But you said the Thai constellation,
So we
right?
have the Thai constellation. We had 6 fruits last year. It was amazing. But we still have this one here.
Oh, yep, there it is. Oh, and so that's even variegated. Oh, funky.
Yeah, so we have some other monsteras that we have in the back that have multiple fruits on it. And as far as I understand, it takes about a year and a half for it to ripen. And it doesn't ripen as a whole. It comes in stages. And you have to make sure that when you eat it, it is on the ripe stage because it can be poisonous.
Very good information. Now, how do you stay on top of the market? Because I'd imagine that some of your buyers come by are asking for X, Y, and Z plant. But are you also using your spidey senses and kind of figuring out what people are looking for? And then how do you get your hands on those things? Because the growing process sometimes takes quite some time.
Yes. So with me, so I'm the buyer. I'm like the point person between our salespeople, our suppliers from like Florida, and also like our suppliers for plugs and liners. So a lot of it is like research. Most of these things are cyclical. For me, it's great relationship with the growers here and in Florida, and feedback from our customers, which it's being in the center of it all makes it easier to buy. Feedback, relationships, that's the biggest part of this. Most especially as a wholesale business, we kind of influence the regional market.
Well, we are very pleased that you have kept our plant retail spots like very flush with plants.
Yes, it's always fun to bring in new plants because I feel like, as a buyer, if I'm excited about something, and there goes like my hope that everybody's excited about these new things as well.
Right.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorites as well. This is Philodendron Goldii. And I wish people would make this as like, even as an alternative to Salums, like Tomatophyllum.
Yeah, I actually find this leaf to be prettier than the Salome.
Same.
Yeah.
Yes. I think they would do well in like lobbies of hotels, and I feel like they do present very well.
Yeah.
So I got this in Florida, the variegated rufus palm. I am so in love with it.
Now that's pretty. It's actually a very nice variegation as well.
Yes.
It's very blonde, but has like this nice green streaks in it.
Yes, it's incredible. So these are, this is very fun. This is Philodendron Summer Glory. Yes, it's perfect. I bought it because it's summertime.
Yeah, and it's got that nice pink streaks in it.
Exactly.
Yep.
They're really great houseplants.
I love the bronze foliage as it's emerging.
Exactly, and they're easy. They barely have any issues with them, so it's a great houseplant.
Look at all these guys just like tipping over. So when is it, do you start to like stake these? Is it pretty early on? And how quickly does it get to a size like this?
They are fairly quick, only because the conditions here are optimal. Everything's temperature controlled. We do our watering seriously, and floors are heated.
Oh, floors are heated.
Yes, the floors are heated
Oh,
here.
that really helps.
Yes, so it's when they were making this greenhouse, it was incredible. I didn't even realize that you have to do that for a greenhouse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also the best kind of heat because it's gentle.
Yes.
I have never seen something so big.
So I bought that before, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, as a 6-inch pot for myself. And I thought, instead of bringing it home, maybe this will be its home because it's living its best life, and people can see how big it is. Yes.
And then here's some tortums. I still don't have a tortum myself, but I think it's such a beautiful, elegant plant.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I actually wanted to see it as like a 10-inch pot because I think it'll be so fun.
I love when the new leaves unfurl.
Yes.
Now, for a while there, syngoniums were having their heyday.
Yes.
And they're quite easy to propagate.
They are,
actually.
and they're beautiful, yes. We also have this one I got from Florida, Syngonium batik. I remember during the pandemic, this was like crazy amount of money. I think it's like 150. I have to buy it for 150, something like that. And we're wholesale.
Yeah.
Those were the days when the
crazy.
pricing was crazy.
I know. So like, how did you deal with that? Because, even when I was buying plants early on, I mean, syngoniums were like $2,
Right.
And they're very easy to propagate, but now there are like so many different kinds of different. I remember Pink Splash was even expensive, but it was already on the market for a while.
Yeah.
And so when you're starting to get those prices at wholesale prices, how do you then begin to even consider pricing things out?
It's very difficult to price because every time, even up till this day, as soon as we get like shipments, our price, we want to make sure that our customers are getting the correct price. Like if we got it on sale, it's lower price this week, we have to adjust it to make sure that they're getting it at a sale price as well. So we want to make sure that everybody's getting the deal. Yes.
What's this? Is this another type of begonia? It has this like acer-shaped leaf. Oh, it's U614, so that's U number. Not yet identified.
Yes, it's really fun. We usually propagate this for sale for the fall because of the colors of it. And, you know, it's very reminiscent of fall.
Yeah, I love it. It looks like a maple leaf.
Yes,
A very
so
Japanese maple leaf.
this was just released recently. So this is Begonia Cleopatra. So we have this in 4-inch and 6-inch hanging basket. It's so fun.
Oh, gorgeous. It's a nice succulent leaf as well.
Yeah, sometimes people think begonias are difficult, but they're really, really good houseplants. They, you know, they can take a little bit of drying out, and you know, they don't mind the house humidity. Yes.
Do you have a tendency to cut them back at all, or?
Yeah, when they get too big. So it depends. For like cane type begonias, if it gets too huge, then we would cut them.
And which is this? This almost looks like
This is a begonia kismet. We usually have this for Valentine's Day because it's cute and pink.
Yeah.
Yes.
Adorable.
Oh, I also want to highlight our succulent hanging baskets.
Up above, these curtains
Yes.
up here.
They are one of our biggest thing that our customers enjoy because, you know, we don't have to ship them in. They don't have to get damaged in shipping because they're all homegrown. So
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Stay tuned on Plant One On Me for more botanical tours, talks, and how-tos. And if you're looking to further your knowledge on the plant kingdom, then have a look at our various online courses from Troubleshoot Your Houseplants to the Houseplant Masterclass. Additionally, we have a second channel called Flock Finger Lakes, where we cover more on outdoor gardening, habitat restoration, agroforestry, and even more. So check that out if that interests you. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next episode.